What is up, guys? My name is John. Welcome to a PC build here on the channel. Today we're going to be doing a high-end PC, medium high-end PC inspired by the Ryzen 3000 series processors that are yet to come out on the market. Now, of course, like I said, they're not on the market just yet, but we're going to do this build in honor of that release, and hopefully in the future you can make this build yourself and just swap out the processor for the new processor and you should be just fine and dandy. Let's get on to the video. Okay guys, so today we're going to be doing a medium to high-end build using a Ryzen 2700 as our base for this build. Obviously with the intention in mind of having you be able to simply swap out this processor for the new 3700 and be able to use this build in general as a guide for a build that's, you know, appropriate for the new processors, the new AMD processors. So what we have here today is an MSI RTX 2070, we have the AMD 2700, we have an Asus Prime X470 Pro motherboard, which hopefully you can also use with the new Ryzen 3700 processor when it comes out. AMD has stated that they have support for these older motherboards now, but they also have obviously the new motherboards. I'm going to leave links in the description below. If you're interested in getting a new motherboard, I'm going to leave you some options as well. And obviously you're going to be able to swap out this processor if you want to swap it out. Now this build comes out to a total of around $1,600 with the Ryzen 2 and about $1,800 with the new processor Ryzen 3700. So it's about a $1,700 build in total, or $1,700. Now for this build, we're going to be using the Ryzen 2700, as I said, as a stand-in for the Ryzen 3700, the Asus Prime X470 motherboard. This is the Pro version. We're going to be using the RTX 2070 from MSI. I believe it's an excellent value and it's a really nice card in general. We're going to be using the Fractal Meshify C case with the tempered glass. It's a beautiful case, and as you can see, we kind of have a black and white theme going on here. As for the cooling, we're going to be using the Corsair H100i Platinum SE. It's a special edition cooler that's coming out in white, black and white, with the RGB fans from Corsair. These are the LL fans, and we've got also 3 more LL fans, so we can build this, you know, make a nice theme going on, RGB, black and white, and so on and so forth. As for the RAM, we're going to be using 32 gigabytes of T-Force Delta RGB RAM. I believe it fits in nicely with our build, and it's a nice looking RAM in general. So obviously you can swap that out if you don't want that. You can use maybe Corsair modules or whatever. I'll leave links in the description below if you're interested. As for the power supply, we're going to be using an EVGA 750 watt power supply. This is a gold rated power supply. It's going to be more than enough for this build. And yeah, you can also swap this out if you're interested to your brand of preference, but I personally like EVGA because of their warranties and reliability. I have no problems with them so far, and I enjoy using their products. As far as storage goes, we're going to be using a 500 gigabyte SSD made by Western Digital, and obviously we're going to be using a mechanical drive. This is a 2 gigabyte. You can't see it, it's in the box, but it's in there, I promise. And to finish it all off, we're going to be using these nice little extensions from Antec. They're going to fit in with our build nicely with a black and white theme, and I believe it's going to tie it all together. Now remember, you can make this build as is, or you can make this build with the Ryzen 3000 series processor in it. Links in the description. Now, without further ado, let's start opening everything up and building it so you can see how it turns out.
Like you say you do. demasiado grande. No.
Now guys, unfortunately due to oversight on my part, we were not able to fit this originally planned RTX 2070 into this build. The radiator is just slightly too big, and the case does not allow us to put the fans on the front of the case in between the front panel. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to fit this card in as is. We tried putting the radiator on top, but unfortunately due to RAM clearance issues, we weren't able to do that either. So we're going to have to swap this card out for the moment so you guys can see what it looks like, but I promise in the next video, we're going to be doing whatever it takes to put this card in this build and show you guys what it performs like. Now, what that means for this build is we're going to have to use a replacement card. For the moment, I'm going to be putting in this 1660 Ti that I have lying around, just so you guys see what it looks like and to be able to finish the build. But like I said, in the next video, we're going to be showing you what it looks like with the original RTX 2070 inside. So please subscribe if you're interested so you don't miss that video. Now, there is an alternative. There's another card, the EVGA RTX 2070 Black Edition, which does fit in this case with this configuration. So I'm going to make sure to swap out the links in the description down below so you get the right card that does fit this build. Alright guys, so sorry about that, and let's continue with the build. Alright guys, so the build is complete. Obviously we had some problems. First off, the RTX 2070 that I picked out for this build did not fit. Unfortunately, that was a bit of an oversight on my part. It's about ½ an inch too long for this build. Now this happened because I already had the card in my possession. This is a build for a client. They did not request that card in their system, and I did not think to check if the card that I had at home would fit in this machine. Now the reason why I wanted to put an RTX 2070 in this build is obviously because this is a concept build for what a Ryzen 3700 build could be, a Ryzen 3000 series build could be. And in fact, you can just swap out the processor in this build as is for the new 3000 series processor and you should be good to go. Or you can just swap out the motherboard and CPU combo, you know, in the list of parts. Obviously, you can check the description for all the list of parts you can use. So RTX 2070 is much more fitting for this build than this GTX 1660 Ti, which is what we put in there so we could finish the build initially. However, there is an RTX 2070 that will fit according to the specs in this machine. That's the EVGA RTX 2070, this one right here, or you can also check the links in the description. There you'll find the correct RTX 2070 that you can use for this build. Okay, so guys, I'm sorry about that. You have two options: either choose that other RTX 2070, which is what I recommend, or change the case for a case that's slightly longer, about ½ an inch to an inch longer. That should be just fine. Now we tried pulling the front panel off, moving the fans to the front and having the radiator sandwiched in between. Now that didn't work because the front panel does not close when there's fans in the front part of the case. You know, some cases work that way, some cases don't. In this case, it did not. We tried putting the radiator on top, but unfortunately it interfered with the RAM slots, and I did not want to have that happening at all in this PC. So we decided not to do that. So for now, we're just going to leave this 1660 Ti in this machine, but the proper thing to do would be to get that EVGA RTX 2070. Now the client that I built this for did request this specific 1660 Ti, for this machine because the person's more interested in doing rendering, video work, and more productivity focused things and not necessarily gaming. But you know, for a gaming build, an RTX 2060 or an RTX 2070 would have been perfect. So try to keep it under 10 inches or 10.5 inches long for the GPU in this build. That's a limitation that unfortunately we have to live with in this beautiful fractal design case with also the beautiful special edition Corsair radiator. Now speaking on the build itself, I think it turned out beautifully. The combination is beautiful. Like I said, the Meshify C case, it's one of the best cases I've ever built in. It's very nice build quality, very flexible, you know, all the things that you would want from a case like this. The Corsair LL RGB fans are absolutely phenomenal. I love the colors. They're completely addressable, like even from the center LEDs to the outer LEDs. They're kind of expensive, but they're worth it when it comes to customization if you like RGB and you like customizing your colors. They're also very, very bright, which is something that I did not expect, but they are super bright. And obviously the special edition cooler includes 2 of those fans, so we decided to finish off the look with 3 more. It's a little bit expensive. It's something that you don't absolutely need, but it really, really brings this build to life. I already mentioned the cooler, but the cooler is absolutely beautiful as well with that polished finish paint on the radiator and everything, and the white tubing, everything. It looks absolutely beautiful. We got the Antec sleeve cables. They're thick cables, so they look pretty beefy, and I really like how it turned out. Now guys, I really hope you liked the build. I think it turned out great. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you how it performs, but we're not going to leave this 1660 Ti in there. We're going to pull that out. We're going to push the radiator forward. We're going to do whatever it takes to get that RTX 2070 in this case, so we can show you guys just how this build performs and what kind of performance you can expect from it as is with the Ryzen 2700 and the RTX 2070. And obviously you can assume that you will be able to get just a little bit more performance when you do finally swap in that Ryzen 3700, or if you decide to build it from the get-go with the Ryzen 3700, you can expect to get that little bit of extra performance from that RTX 2070. So guys, please subscribe so you don't miss the next video, so you can see just what it takes to put that RTX 2070 in here and see the performance of this machine. So guys, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.